Hey everybody, it's Emily at Arg Schooling, and I bought a lot of books, so let's do a book haul. I wasn't planning on filming another book haul for a little while, but I decided to go ahead and knock this out in November because I'm not going to be getting any more books until after Christmas, and I have this big stack that I need to put away. So I thought, you know what, let's go ahead and do this a little earlier than planned because I did buy more things than I anticipated. I want to kick this off with my Nightworms for November. The theme for November was horror royalty, and this is what the bookmark looks like. And the books we got After the People Lights Have Gone Off by Stephen Graham Jones. I think this is a short story collection. That's really all I know about it. But I do enjoy Stephen Graham Jones short stories, so I'm looking forward to getting to this eventually. And then I got The Queen by Nick Cutter. I have never read anything by Nick Cutter before. I am incredibly curious just based on this cover. I don't know what this is. It says, "It's impossible to know another person, isn't it, to step past that locked door of their secretive inner self. But honestly, do you even want to know?" No. I guess this is like a story that's taking place over the course of like one day. I don't know what this is. I own, I think, one other book by Nick Cutter. I think I have The Handyman Method that I haven't gotten to yet, and I've heard a lot about The Troop. I've never read anything by this author, so maybe this will be my first book. I don't know. Okay. I'm just gonna kind of work through. I was gonna try to organize this. You guys, I'm such a mess right now. I don't know. I can't. I'm not doing great. I don't think most of us are, but I'm struggling. So this is like super disorganized, but let's just talk about books. My happy moment was I won a Goodreads giveaway last month. Fully unexpected. I enter those all the time and I've never won anything. So to win one of my most anticipated books of 2025 was shocking. I screamed. I have All Better Now by Neil Shusterman in my hand. I have it. I really hope this book does not disappoint me like his last one did, because that was a DNF for me. What was it? Roxy? I did not like that. But this sounds so interesting. And I'm going to be talking about this more later because I'm going to be doing a video talking about new releases at the beginning of the new year. But this is sort of like, what if there was a virus that made everyone who had it and survived it? Like, if you survive this virus, you become perfectly content. You are happy. You just, like, all of your fears, anxieties, worries are gone. You feel amazing. And what if that happens to too many people? And what does that do to society? What if the corporations start losing money? Because if you aren't sad and depressed and anxious, how will they convince you that you need them? So, like, that's kind of the setup here. And we're following a couple different characters as they're living through this weird time of, like, do we want to be content when the corporations are telling us we don't want to be content? And trying to stop this virus because it's ruining their profits. And I am so curious about this book. I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. I am on a quest, apparently, to read as much dystopian things as I can. I've been drawn to it forever, but like now all of a sudden I'm like, I should read more dystopian. If I'm gonna live it, I might as well read it, right? This is about 39 women who are imprisoned in a cage deep underground, and they have no memory of how they got there, no notion of time, and only a vague recollection of their lives from before. As the burn of electric lights merge day into night and numberless years pass, a young girl, the 40th prisoner, sits alone and outcast in the corner. Soon she will show herself to be the key to the others' escape and survival in the strange world that awaits them above ground. I am so curious about this. And it's also really short, so I'm hoping to get to this soon. I have some pre-orders. I pre-ordered Golem Crafters. This is by Emi Watanabe Cohen, and I am basically, if you tell me that a book has a golem in it, I'm going to read it. I'm going to buy it, it's going to sit on my shelf, and eventually I will read it. And so this is middle grade, I think. And I don't even know what this is about specifically, besides that it's about some kids who make a golem. I don't even know. But I love golems. It's like one of my favorite things in Jewish mythology, and I will read almost anything if you put a golem in it. So I bought Golem Crafters. I wish I could tell you more about what it is, but I have not actually read the synopsis. I saw the name, saw somebody recommend it, and immediately pre-ordered it. I have the Davenports, More Than This by Crystal Marquise. I read the first Davenports book last year when it came out and really enjoyed it. So when I knew there was going to be a sequel, I had it pre-ordered for ages. I think I pre-ordered this like back in April or something. This is a story set around like the turn of the century, I think. Yeah. This is set in like 1910 in Chicago. And we're following a well-off black family, kind of like upper crust society kind of a story, but they're black, and so you're seeing all of that through a different lens than typically you would see. I really liked the characters in this, and I really liked how like some of them were being exposed to racism and things for the first time because they had been so coddled, and they're like tight-knit group of other black families that they just had not experienced things like that before, and so they were being like shown a different world in some ways, and I just think it was a really interesting story. And I thought the characters and their little romances and everything, I just really enjoyed it. I love a good historical, I love a really well done historical setting, great characters, great setting, great plot. I just really enjoyed it and I wanted more, so I'm looking forward to reading this. On election day, one of my favorite bookstores was having a sale that you could get anything in their store for like 25% off, so of course I had to buy myself a treat for voting. So I bought Ida in Love and in Trouble by Veronica Chambers. This was something I'd been like looking at. It had been on my list of books to get for a while. So this was a great opportunity to buy it. This is a historical fiction story about Ida B. Wells, and I think it's about like her youth and like growing up, and it's a romance, but it's also very much a historical story about her life. It's set in 1885. And it says, Ida B. Wells is thriving, intelligent, flirtatious, and brimming with curiosity. She knows she's lucky to be young and free in a community pulsating with hope and possibility. Between trips to the opera house, swoon-worthy letters from handsome suitors, and invitations to literary salons, Ida's living a life that her formerly enslaved parents could never have imagined. Armed with her quick wit and a promising journalism career, she has much to look forward to, but being black in America remains perilous. And as Ida's outrage at the violence faced by African Americans grows, she uses her skill with a pen to expose injustice. So, I've always thought she was such a fascinating person, and I'm looking forward to reading this YA historical romance about her. Another sequel that I pre-ordered was Where the Library Hides by Isabel Ibanez. I read both the River Nose last year. Loved it. Did not expect that. Was not a book I actually fully expected to like. I remember, because I think I had the ARC, and I remember getting it because of the setting, because it's set in Egypt. It like the turn of the century, and that isn't a setting I'd seen terribly often, and I I knew it was about a Bolivian girl and it had to do with like a little bit of magic. And so I was curious about it, but I wasn't expecting much, but I ended up loving it. So I went ahead and pre-ordered the sequel because it ended on such a wacky cliffhanger that I just need to know what the heck that was so I can just like get some closure. I think it's a duology, I hope, because I need to know what the heck. So if you like The Mummy, it has strong mummy vibes. That is kind of the idea here. It's kind of that, but we're following a character who is Bolivian and her parents were Egyptologists, but they're dead. And she doesn't understand why they would choose Egypt over her. Like, they spent all of their time in Egypt and they barely spent any time with her. And she's like, but why? What was so important to them in Egypt that they basically abandoned me and then died? So she goes to Egypt to go and find out what they were doing there. Why was this so important to them? And she starts to uncover so many little things and learn so many secrets about her parents that she had no idea about. And of course there's some romance. And it was just a really good time, so I'm looking forward to reading this. I bought myself a fun little middle grade, although to be honest, I bought this for the holiday season. I am already so burnt out on middle grade because of reading for the Civils Awards. I'm a Civils judge. I've been reading so much middle grade the last like 3 months that I'm at the point now where I'm over it. I don't want any more middle grade. Like, I have to push through and finish some things, but then I'm probably not going to touch middle grade for a good 2 months. But I bought this anyway, just in case. I got Let It Glow. This is by Marissa Meyer and Joanne Levy. This sounded so fun. This is a story about twins who were separated at birth and then adopted to different families. And one is raised in like a Christian family, I think, or at least a secular family that celebrates Christmas. And one is raised Jewish. And they meet at camp, I think, or something like that, and discover that they are twins and decide to switch places and get to experience each other's lives over the holidays. So it's kind of a Parent Trap situation. And I just think that sounds so fun that we're going to explore Christmas and Hanukkah through these twins' experiences with their different families. And it just sounds cute and fun. And I don't know if I'm going to read this in December, but I have it if I wanted to. I got another middle grade from Random House Children's Books. I work with them sometimes, and they sent me this, All the Best Dogs by Emily Jenkins, and I could not resist how cute this cover is. It's a dog book. I don't actually know too much about what this actually is about, but it sounds cute. It says, welcome to the dog park. It's a playground for dogs in the big city. Here, 4 6th graders and their dogs overlap on one hilarious and important June weekend. So we're following these different children and their dogs over the course of a weekend at a dog park. It sounds so cute. If you like dogs, I think this could be fun. I finally got a copy of The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride. This has been calling out to me for like the whole year, basically. And I kept almost buying it and then not getting it, and then almost buying it and then not getting it. So I finally bought it. Because I don't know why. I sometimes I'll look at a book and go, I can't buy you yet. Why? I don't know. Rules in my brain. So I finally purchased this. This is a story set in the 70s and following some characters who live in a small town in Pennsylvania and their lives. And I don't really know more than that. I mean, I know that it's got some different representation in it. I think we're following a Black and Jewish character, which I'm really interested to read. But I don't really know what this is, besides that it's literally just been calling out to me, and I've been really wanting to pick it up. So now I have it. And I think this is my last pre-order that I have. But I got the latest Sapiens graphic novel. I think this is the last one. I think it's a set of 3. And this is the 3rd one. So I've already have the first 2, and I really enjoyed them a lot. So now I have this one, and this one says it's tackling the question of driving force of humanity's fate It's, is it empire, money, religion, or something else entirely that unites us? And this one goes through like history. I think the first one is more about like what makes humans human. The second one is more about like early humans and like building of civilization. And I think this one goes through the rest of history, I think. And so, I don't know, I haven't read this yet, but I really want to get to it sooner than later so I can let you guys know. The rest of the stuff I have here are things that I bought in the like immediate aftermath of the election. And like, I don't know, they were all sitting in my cart, or I'd heard about them and just decided this was the time. So this has been in my cart, honestly, for months. I almost got it for school this year, and then I didn't. I was going to save it for next year, but then I just bought it. Civic-Minded, What Everyone Should Know About the U.S. Government by Jeff Fleischer. We're probably going to read this next year. I don't think we're going to get to it this school year, but I've kind of been going through things I already have on my shelves, things that I wanted to get, and we do civics every year. And so this will probably be for next year because I already have too many things lined up this year for civic. There's only so much time. But this one is a relatively new release, I think. This might have come out this year. I don't know. I need to see. Can I find that? Yes. So this is like a 2024 release. It's YA. I decided to go ahead and get my copy. So it's exactly what it sounds like. It just takes you through like how everything works. So like there are chapters on things like Social Security. Where does federal government spending go? What are capital gains taxes and how do they work? So like a lot of like different questions that you might have about how the government works. What is inflation and deflation? What is the IRS and what does it do? Lots and lots of information in here. This would be a great resource just to have on your shelves, I think, for when questions like that come up, because they inevitably do. And so often I think we go, ooh, good question, and we might have an answer, or we might not know how to answer. So having things like this handy, I think it's better than just Googling, because you get all kinds of randomness when you Google, but this would give you a straight answer. I bought Cast, The Origins of Our Discontents by Isabel Wilkerson. This is one that I, again, have had, like, I should get that for quite a while. And I just hadn't gotten to it yet. I still haven't read The Warmth of Other Suns, which has bothered me for ages. That is a book that I am like, I'm going to read in 2025. And so maybe I'll read both of them in 2025. Maybe that could be a goal I set for myself. Because I feel like this is an important work. I've heard so many good things about it. I've seen several interviews with Isabel Wilkerson where I'm just like, wow, she's brilliant. I should read her books. So that is a thing that I'm going to try to make happen in the new year. It says the Pulitzer Prize winning author of The Warmth of Other Suns gives a masterful portrait of an unseen phenomenon as she explores how America, throughout its history, has been shaped by a hidden caste system, a rigid hierarchy of human rankings. Immersive, deeply researched, and beautifully written, Caste inspires us to transcend artificial and destructive divisions toward hope and our common humanity. So, looking forward to reading that. I also bought Democracy in Retrograde. This is by Sammy Sage and Emily Amick. I follow Emily in your phone on Instagram and find her immensely helpful. And so I'd already heard about this book because of that, but then just, I don't know, I kept thinking this would be good to have on my shelves, again, for civics. I might do this with my daughter either next year or her senior year. I don't know yet. But I feel like this would be great because I think it's useful to not just explain how government works, but talk a lot more about like how you can be involved. Even if you don't want to be a politician necessarily, you can still be involved. There are still things you can do to make the change you want to see. And that is what this book does. So I think it would be a really great resource for teens or just for anyone who wants to know like what they can do, how they can contribute. somebody recommended this book to me and I didn't even know it existed, and I'm like, how did I not know this existed? Because I love this author. And that is Hypercapitalism by Larry Gonick and Tim Kaser. This is all about the modern economy, its values, and how to change them. I love Larry Gonick's books. I use his cartoon history series in Build Your Library. And I have several of his cartoon science books that we've used over the years. So like, I love his stuff. I did not know he had an economics book. I'm so excited to read this though, because I feel like this might make a lot of things make more sense, both to me, to my kids. This may end up in Build Your Library because I still need to do an update for level 12 at some point, and this may end up in the economics course because I've been looking for something for economics and I somehow did not even know this existed. So this I'm very excited about reading. Like, cannot wait to pick this up. And then the last book I have is Everyone Who Is Gone Is Here, The United States, Central America, and the Makings of a Crisis by Jonathan Blitzer. I saw this was nominated for the Goodreads Choice Awards, and I hadn't heard of it. So I went and looked up to see what it was, and immediately bought it. This is all exactly what it just says. It's all about how the immigration crisis that we are currently experiencing, like how we got there, and why all of this has happened, and America's hand in it. So I definitely want to get to this. Did not anticipate how big it would be. I always forget to check how many pages is a book. Like, not that I wouldn't have bought it, but you know, I might have liked to be pre-warned that this was going to be such a gigantic book. I'm trying to find out how many pages actually is this. I mean, the thing with nonfiction is the end is usually a good chunk of the end anyway, is all like notes and things. So trying to figure out where does the actual book part end. So it's actually not that long. It's 464 pages. But again, I feel like this could be a really important read. So going forward into 2025, I want to prioritize reading more nonfiction. I mean, I do read a fair amount of nonfiction, but generally speaking, when I read nonfiction, it's usually for something to do with Build Your Library. I don't read it just for my own reading, generally speaking. Like, I do sometimes, but most of the time I'm reading it for like work purposes. But I feel like I want to start reading a little bit more nonfiction for myself. So this is going in my stack. I don't know when I'm going to get there, but I'm hoping not too long before I get to it, because I feel like this is something important that I really want to read. Okay, so that is the 17 books that I bought in like the second half of October in November. Whew. Okay, so now I have to put these away, but I'm probably not going to do another book haul until like after Christmas, because I am not buying any more books for myself. And I think I only have one more book pre-ordered, and it doesn't come out until Christmas Eve. So I won't probably even get that until after Christmas. So yeah, I'll let you guys see what I end up getting for the holidays at the end of December. And then it'll be the new year. So this is almost the last book haul, the penultimate book haul, if you will. So let me know in the comments if there's anything in this stack that you are like, Emily, you need to read that now. And also let me know if you got any interesting books in the last little bit. Let me know. I would love to hear about it. I love to hear about things that you guys are excited about reading too. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Happy reading. Bye.